Testing, 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 testing. Hey guys, how we doing? It's Kimberly Ponce. It is 10:09 in the morning, and it's June 24th. And yeah, I hope your weekend was awesome. Now it's 10:10 in the morning, you guys. So this is a day, and we're gonna slay it. What did I want to talk about today? Why am I here? What is this video? You're right. Let me just it's a little, but it's my channel. So that's what we're talking about. But what we're talking about today, it's controversial. That's what all that was just then. But it's like, it's fine because that's how things are. And the title of today's video is The Political Agenda Behind Modern Day Medical Care. A comparative analysis of domestic healthcare and foreign healthcare, including Japan, Canada, and Sweden. But then I'm also going to tie it into like Bible verses and how it's like a message for today in our worlds as well, for chosen ones and Christians and children of God. So yeah, I'm like legit just getting the Monday going. I am. That was like literally my second sip of coffee of all of today, which yeah, it's good. Mondays are good. And you know, I rested yesterday. I hope all of y'all got some really good rest. And I'm still catching up on some weekend chores. So we're filming indoors today, and I'm actually kind of digging it. It's really nice, actually. And it's not to say that there might be more outdoor content, but just for like today, while I still have to get these chores done, and it's just kind of nice sometimes not to like rush out the door Monday morning. Sometimes like a slow morning is nice. So yeah, you guys, I'm like seriously so stoked. Like, thanks to the new subs, like, and hello to the new subs. We're getting closer to my goal. It's exciting. So thank you so much for honestly being a part of the fam and joining the channel. You guys, basically, like, I'm really interested in politics. I don't know if you've noticed that. And systems and what makes it tick, and organizations and corporations, and studying all of that. It's very fascinating to me. It literally always has. Like, let me show you some of my, like, people, my friends and stuff always using families to make fun of me. Because they'd be like, oh, are you just doing some light reading, Kimberly? I've always been interested in, so this is like human rights, like philosophy, a lot of like human rights and philosophy, and of course the legal system, judicial system, of course. I wrote a whole essay on postmodernism when I took this class, and I sat in that library for like 3 hours, and I did not even know what I was writing. I still couldn't define to you what postmodernism is, even though I wrote a whole essay on it. And that's how much bullshit a college degree is, by the way. But I mean, you know, to each their own, and like, education's great. Guys, so something I've learned in like political science classes and whatnot, is that there generally is like a layout, and one of my favorite curriculums that I had the opportunity and like awesome opportunity to sit in and get to hear one of like the best professors. I feel like I got so blessed with like such good legal professors and stuff in my undergrad that were like, this is what democracy is, and they wrote a whole book on it, and they wrote down 5 ideals. The female professor and another male professor of the political science department at my old university Portland State University. I'm from Oregon. I'm in New York now, you know, because whatever, you know, I guess, like, I mean, I, like, live my life, who cares? But I'm from Oregon. And, that's where my roots are. I'm cracking myself up because I'm so freaking, like, hilarious. But you guys, we have 5 ideals, according to this female professor and male professor, of what, characterizes democracy. So, the first, let's just get into it, is meaningful elections. The second is fair representation. The third is accountability. And the fourth is balance of interest. So like majority rule versus minority rule. And functional state, and that's efficiency and effectiveness. So, why did I include these? Kimberly, where is this going? Can you get to the point already? Like, your intros take forever. Okay. You guys, when we go out into the world, we're like literally agents of our own like ideas of simulations of what our thoughts are projecting onto others, and then a ricochet of what their thoughts are projecting onto us. Okay, so that's just to lay out the base of matrices. I think it's pretty ambitious. I'm gonna try and do a video in like 20 minutes of the political agenda behind modern day medical care. But like, we're gonna go for it, and then I'm also gonna tie it in with the Bible verse, and hopefully get to make you smile and laugh throughout this too. That's like big goals, you know. So, have you noticed how like Japan, Sweden, Canada, like literally, it's free healthcare. It's a holistic part of being a citizen. In America, it's like it's not just it's like. I'm so excited to talk about. I'm so passionate about some topics that I like trip over my own words and speak so fast. And that coffee is darn good today. So, we go out into the world, say you have a stomach ache, you was going out and like, tell the doctor you got a stomach ache. Have you ever noticed, whatever the issue is, when you go and see a doctor, or actually, yeah, oh yeah, shoot. Yeah, so that, shoot. Okay, well, I was gonna do, like, touch on authorities and medical, because they both do it, but we'll focus on medical for now, and I can tie in the authorities later. But, as we see in Ephesians 6:12, we don't fight against like flesh and blood. We don't like, you know, it's not like right in front of our eyes. It's spiritual. So you're in a really good mood and you come into a room and somebody like says something in it and it's a put down. Okay, this is spiritual. They had no evidence that you were the happiest person in the room. They could tell by the way you carried yourself. This is just a small example of spiritual warfare. Okay, everything's spiritual. It's not flesh and blood. It's not what we can see. Nothing that we see anyway is going to last. Everything that is unseen has eternity and lasts forever. And so, okay, then have you ever noticed you go and sit into a doctor's and like you leave and you're like, I don't know if I feel better. I feel like I was just asked questions that made me feel stupider. Like, have you ever noticed like that, like you'll go and sit and then they like point out the most obvious or condescend, and it's like they're like, the healthcare system isn't meant to afford sitting down with the patient for more than 15 to 20 minutes. No more than 15 to 20 minutes is a general average like medical facility able to afford more than that. So what does that mean? Okay, I hate to say this, you're a number. In America, you're not a patient, you're a number. I'm still going for the day and getting ready. It's a good life. So, like, Are you with me here? Are you with me here? We'll do like a little bit of like the authorities. Like say like you could have sworn you could have sworn you saw somebody in the backyard, and your spouse said that they saw them too. And then like you call the police and you're all like like riled up, and then the police is like, well, what's that right there? And the police officer is like looking, and it's like a bottle of wine, and you and your spouse look at each other and they're like, yeah, we had like a bottle. And then the police officer like insinuates that you didn't really see somebody in your backyard, that you're just kind of like intoxicated. Like, so these are small little examples of how the authorities, that doctors, police officers, these people of authority figures who have a lot of power and impact in society, they aren't the help. They aren't the assistance. They are the, stick with me here, representation. Okay, because when we look at the 5 ideals of democracy, and I will cite the source of this book of like, this is my favorite professor ever in the whole world, and the other author too, and he's honestly, he's like one of my favorite male professors too, because he actually gave me an A on my thesis. This professor, he gave me an A+ on my thesis, and then the thesis, I wrote that in 2018, and it was based off of my 14-week internship in New York City, and that was when I was working in PR. So fair representation, you guys, was the second ideal of characters, ideals of democracy. So we have meaningful elections, fair representation, accountability, balance of interest, and functional state. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So that right there. So you see. So when I'm begging the question of and bringing more intrigue and compelling interest around the idea of is, like, they're the middleman. The doctor is the middleman. It's not about patient health. It's never been that. It's never been, listen guys, do you feel better after you eat a meal like out? Probably not, because it's like legit poisoned. Like if the government like Doritos are like so poisoned, like everything is like meant to like make us want more and more of it, and they're like putting chemicals in without like telling us, and but then they're like, oh, but you have the rights because it was in the fine print, and this is your signature right here, and it's like, I was born here. Okay, so I'm not a patient. I guess I'm someone who's a number who doesn't, just by my own birthright, doesn't have the right to healthcare. I have to pay and get insurance and qualify. You have to qualify to receive healthcare. How does that make any sense? So you're telling me that a man who is born without hearing aids in America has to seek representation in order to be able to have the right to hear? Sorry, what? Okay, so you're also telling me that somebody who's born diabetic or is born and then develops diabetes over a timeline continue to have to qualify for healthcare just so that they can get their right, what do you call it, you guys, what do you call it? Insulin. And just to get the right amount of insulin balance in their body, they need to be able to have this like very important medicine that brings everything level, and they don't like have medical concerns and can function in their day and protect their family and bring home an income, but that person who developed diabetes over a timeline has to earn the right to be able to continue a healthy lifestyle. What? They don't just get help just because they're born, but other countries like Japan, Sweden, and Canada, literally, like, it's universal right to healthcare. Like, it blows my mind that, like, America will find any way to charge somebody for anything. It's mind boggle. I'm surprised that we're not charging people for their smiles at this point, or like asking for like to obtain more information when we like laugh or something. Like it's like everything has a price tag, and it's like money validates in a receipt and like the sticker that says paid when you leave the store. Like we're legit being conditioned to have to be a part of something to receive the right of what should already be a universal right, a human birthright, to receive healthcare, to receive the right to continue to live a healthy and well-balanced, nourished life. That it's insane. So who does this? So when we look at these things, and I'm just begging the question, I'm making a couple of points here and there, but what does this tell you about what the medical care and what the healthcare system in America exists for? Who does it benefit? So let me ask you this. So if it's not benefiting the patient, then why does healthcare even exist? Who is it benefiting? I want to ask you that. Who do you think the healthcare industry is benefiting if it's not benefiting the patient? I want you to use your critical thinking skills. I know you got them. Remember earlier how I said, what did I say earlier? That the medicine, that the healthcare industry, that the doctors are the middleman? Do you remember when I said that? Because if they weren't the middleman, then they'd have more than 15 minutes for us. But they're legit, like the concierge, if you will, for Big Pharma. That's who the healthcare industry is benefiting. It's not benefiting the patient. It's a means of profitivity. That's not a word. It's a means of profit, and it's a means of lucrativity. Thank you there. For Big Pharma, because of course, I'm just having, I'm the patient and the doctor here. I'm just having, just can't sleep so well anymore these days. The doctor's not going to say, get more sleep, eat a balanced diet, meditate, look within yourself. You have all the answers. You actually don't need to buy anything. You actually have all the answers in you. They're never going to say that. They're going to say, you need to buy this, you need to get this referral here, and also I'm prescribing you this and this and this, and if you're nervous for some flights coming up too, here's some Xanax. Just throw it in the lady's purse on her way out the door. That's practically how casual and cavalier Big Pharma is now about overprescribing medicines to average Joe. So we're not receiving our birthright. We're not of healthcare. We're sitting ducks in a room. We're sitting ducks in a sitting. We're sitting ducks sitting in a waiting room, waiting to be prescribed a pill or a medicine that will likely cause more issues and other symptoms and side effects than actually dealing with the issue. But of course that can never, the root issue. But of course the root issue will never be discovered because the doctor only has 15 minutes. Like, that's all they can afford. 15 to 20 minutes, that's all they can afford. So officially Americans are a number, and we just have to trust, especially women. Oh my gosh. Women have to trust their own bodies, their own gut, and their own intuition in a room with a doctor, especially if you're alone in a room with a doctor. Trying to avoid that. Trying to always get two or a chaperone, especially if they're going to do some weird invasive shit like procedures that say that's going to help, but really you just feel scared and violated. There's so many rights that women before I really feel all of my passion, what I'm trying to say is women, trust in your own body and what you feel, and take everything in prayer to God, and ask to find the doctor that will hear you, because God will provide doctors. He has done that for me in the past that were so spot on and listened to me. And of course, so this video isn't to say that there aren't good doctors, that there isn't some efficiency out there in the medical healthcare. I'm just pointing out the large red flags and asking questions that will hopefully start a tick of critical thinking in others, just to help expose some of the fraudulent, promises of like American healthcare, like fraudulent promises of society. And like, I do believe, that we're here to become better and all that, but I also have a Bible verse I'm going to end with, you guys, that tells us how we can avoid all of this confusion when it isn't the right doctor, when we aren't being treated the way that we should, etc. This is interesting. I wrote some notes down. I really made the best cup of coffee this morning. I'm so proud of myself. Enough information to speculate. What did I write? Doctors are like hyped up medical students taking their best educated guess. The average healthcare professional is a pseudo-representative of government care, whereas the effectiveness of the patient is low, and yet oddly enough, that is the efficiency of promoting incentives to be no more than a third-party middleman necessary in order to benefit the infamous big pharma / corporate profits / meanwhile advertising ways to obtain personal information and to sustain the healthcare industry as a loophole for employment rates and for representation. Oh, that's interesting. And healthcare, advertising healthcare as a privilege is not a right. Enough information to speculate that the government actively experiments on humans as a mean to obtain information and maintain weight for the healthcare company. Because it all goes back to having representation and accountability. Healthcare and company and those employees keep them in business. Keep pharmaceutical companies in check and in business, no doubt. So yeah, it's not about, in America, what the argument I'm making here, it's not about the patient, it's about making more lucrative profit for big pharma, and it's a way to continue to honestly take all the patient's information as much as they can and obtain more and more information. So that's why they all ask all those questions. And that's why more often than not, you leave feeling like you were condescended or you weren't given the right care or the right time or the ample attention and support. And the main argument I'm making is that it's doctors and some police officers and like authorities, anyone representing authorities, but mostly I'm focusing in this video for healthcare, is that it's about accountability and representation, you guys. So those are the two words I'm sticking on. So some organizations, some governments, some people will do things not because they really care about it. What I'm trying to educate in this video today is that things will be done, people will say things for the accountability because it looks good, because it looks like an actual representation of something entirely different. But really what it is only giving each patient 15 minutes. But really it looks like everyone's being taken care of, and there's the after visit summaries printed, and et cetera, et cetera. But this is the whole overall arching theme that I'm tying in here, is that we live in a world where a lot of people are operating off of wanting clout and wanting representation and wanting accountability, but they don't actually care. They're just doing it to receive. They don't actually care about the best interest of like X, Y, and Z. Their intentions aren't genuine and aren't of moral like aptitude. It's more about doing it just to receive the clout, representation, and accountability. So how does that tie into the Bible? How does that tie into everyday life? Listen right here, baby. We got Matthew 7:15. Be on the watch for the false prophets that come to you in sheep's covering, but inside they are ravenous wolves. By their fruits you will recognize them. Never do people gather grapes from thorns or figs from thistles, do they? Likewise, every good tree produces fine fruit. But every rotten tree produces worthless fruit. A good tree cannot bear worthless fruit. I didn't finish that verse, but I know that the last word is fruit. This was actually... Okay, nice. You guys, that's the vid. I hope you're sticking with me on this one. It was a little bit passionate and all that. So, but you know, like that's what this channel's for. We're exposing and we're talking and asking questions and thinking and for ourselves. That's what's important. And making sure that we're always not letting the sheep's wool over our eyes, and not letting those who are wolves in sheep clothing deceive us. So I'm not saying every doctor, every police officer is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm saying a majority of the world operates based off of immoral compasses, like off of an immoral compass. Like they don't have that genuine, guys, what's the word? Guys, what is the word? Benevolence. Like they don't have that benevolence. Like their compass is much more like what they can get out of it, what clout, how much higher up they can go in the corporate ladder. Like their motive is like of the wolf, and they can wear sheep's clothing. So this is why we got to watch out and always question and be as scrupulous as a dove. Scrupulous as a snake and innocent as a dove. And think for yourself. Always keep your wits about you. And always remain skeptical, guys. I'm not kidding when I say that. Is like, that is the best advice I think I could give anyone. Is like, remain skeptical. Question everything. A smart person asks questions. Even if, like, you think you know what's going on. Like, even if you think that you know, like, the answer. If you ask somebody else, like, what their version of the answer is, you're getting another source of knowledge. It's good to remain open-minded. It's good... it'll be your ally to remain open-minded and to continue to remain skeptical and inquisitive, and always asking questions. Like, don't just take the information at face value. Consider, where did this come from? Who wrote it? When did they write it? What state of mind were they in when they wrote this? What bias? Like, the critical thinking skills will save your life. And so, like, that's what God gave us. He wants us to be thinkers. He wants us to be teachers. He wants us to be practicing and sharing his gospel. And so be as innocent as a dove and as scrupulous as a snake. I love you guys so much. Thanks for, like, literally an awesome Monday video. I love you, like, literally so much. Like, I literally feel it, like, all the time. I literally do. And, literally. Okay. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Stay chosen. Peace.